Hey guys, in this What's Unique About this unique video, I want to talk about all the unique items that enable Rampage, because most of items on this list, with one exception, do not deserve separate videos. If you don't know, Rampage was a full league just like Scourge League, but it was much simpler than leagues these days. Rampage is a kill streak mechanic. The higher the number, the more speed and damage you do. But if you fail to get a kill in 5 seconds, then it resets back to 0. There are some limitations which enemies cannot grant Rampage counts, but as far as I know, the Breathing Jar Worm still counts towards Rampage, which is often used to maintain Rampage during boss phases. So why would you care about Rampage in Scourge League? Well, Scourge League works very well with Rampage because you click a button to summon monsters basically, which allows you to maintain Rampage easier. Rampage buff provides 1% movement speed per 20 Rampage stacks and 2% increased damage per 10 Rampage stacks. Maximum 1000 stacks. Also there are 13 Rampage tiers, and each tier triggers different effects. First tier is 15 Rampage stacks, and Rampage counter only shows up when you reach first tier. However, Rampage starts after just one stack, so in many cases you can swap one item, get one kill, it will enable Rampage stacks, then swap item back and continue clearing maps while Rampage keeps ramping up. Special effects that triggers at certain tiers are mostly meaningless and they don't do much. So as you can see, Rampage League was really simple. Rampage also forces you to rush, move quickly between enemy packs, and with the amount of loot we are getting today, it can be pretty annoying. It is definitely not for everyone. However, there are builds that can easily maintain Rampage. So to those builds it becomes a free damage and speed boost. I will use my Soul Eater build as an example. If you are interested in Soul Eater build, I also have a build guide video for that. The main reason why Rampage was easy for this build to sustain is because I am using Temporal Chain Curse on myself, which extends duration of all effects on me, including Rampage. Instead of having only 5 seconds to get a kill to maintain Rampage counter, I extend it to over 15 seconds to get a kill, which makes it much easier to sustain Rampage. During Scourge League I was always getting 1000 Rampage stacks, sometimes even halfway through the map. All I had to do is weapon swap, get one kill, weapon swap back, and continue with my business. So let's take a look at Rampage items. I'm going to start with Dancing Dervish and Dancing Duo, which is the only item that deserves its own video, so for now I will just mention that it is used for minion builds. It triggers Manifest Dancing Dervish on Rampage. This minion is the weapon. It is nearly immortal and it disables your weapon slot, so you are going to be running unarmed and you cannot weapon swap into something else. It is interesting build, and I know some people always league start with this because how simple and effective it is, but it often lacks endgame viability and forces you to always be in a rush, so forget about trading. On to the next item, and it is the item I used to weapon swap into. Sinvicta's Mettle. Stats on this weapon do not matter, but it is only a weapon you can easily swap into just by clicking W instead of manually swapping items, so it is pretty convenient. Let's look at more interesting items. Bisco's Leash Unique Belt, which grants increased quantity of items found and 1% increased rarity of items found per 15 Rampage kills. If you cannot weapon swap, then this belt is often used to enable Rampage before swapping back to other belt, but this can also be used on Magic Find builds. You also do lose all rarity and quantity stats from this belt when you swap into something else, so only Rampage remains. Next I'm going to show 4 pairs of gloves. 3 of them have special modifiers that trigger when you gain Rampage. And I have tested to verify each Rampage tier counts as gaining Rampage. Remember, there are 13 tiers, last being at 520 stacks. Flesh and Spirit gloves' main gimmick is that they recover 20% of life on Rampage, and kill grants an additional Val Soul if you have Rampage recently. Unfortunately, these gloves do not see much use, and they are the lowest level Rampage item. Next, Shadows and Dust. They do give critical strike chance and critical strike multiplier, which is useful for most critical strike builds while leveling. It also creates Smoke Cloud, and you gain Unholy Might for 3 seconds on Rampage. This synergy with Rampage is also not very strong, but Rampage itself can help you move faster and do more damage while leveling and rushing through zones, so it could be used as a nice leveling item. Next, Wyrmsign gloves are a bit misleading. gain Rampage while at maximum endurance charge is actually gain Rampage when you gain maximum endurance charges, which means if you just grab 3 minimum endurance charges, or in other ways you are always on maximum endurance charges, then it will not enable Rampage stacks. Although if you are using a minimum endurance charge craft on a ring, you could probably unequip a ring and equip it back to trigger a Rampage, then quickly get kills in those 5 seconds to continue clearing. I don't have a character to test this, but either way it sounds clunky. But then again, so is swapping belt. Null and Void gloves are in my opinion the most viable option and have the most interesting gimmick. Remove elemental ailment on Rampage. Gain immunity to physical damage for 1.5 seconds on Rampage. It also has up to 70 flat life, up to 30 strength, and up to 40% increased mana regeneration rate. Remember that I said each Rampage tier counts as gaining Rampage, so you will become immune to physical damage up to 13 times. But it is very unreliable and hard to time it when you actually need it. But if you run max effect temporal chain curse on yourself, you can extend it to 6 seconds physical immunity, which is a lot easier to benefit from, but not really something you can use as a main protection against physical damage. So there you have it. Most of these items are very outdated and barely ever used, but because some of them were tied to Rampage League, it would be hard to justify trying to rework them. One item from this list we know is going to be changed, and that is Dancing Duo, which is an upgraded version of Dancing Dervish. Since Prophecy is going away, upgraded Prophecy items are also going away, but the base version of some of those items will be updated to match the power of upgraded version. Since Dancing Duo and Dancing Dervish is nearly identical, the only difference being 2 minions or 1 minion, I would assume Dancing Dervish in the future will just trigger 2 minions instead of 1. So that is pretty much it. If you like these kind of videos, hit that like button, and also leave a comment which item should I talk about next in what's unique about this unique video. I am being careful to select items that I think will not become outdated in 1 or 2 leagues. And right now I got 17 other videos in this series. So for now, thank you for watching and I will see you in the next one.